Welcome to the Gyrl podcast, the show where purpose meets inspiration. Each week, I sit down with incredible individuals who open up about their real life journeys, the wins, the setbacks, and the lessons in between. Whether you're navigating career moves, entrepreneurship, or personal growth, you're in the right place. I'm Kyra Mitchell Lewis, your host, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's glow up. All right, happy Thursday, everyone. I hope you all are having a fantastic week. Hope everything is going well for you. We are in the month of January. It's a new year. Um, Hope things have kicked off for you. I hope you were able to say goodbye to 2025 and enter into 2026. All right, let's talk about our guest today. We are talking resilience and talking writing through resilience, life after TBI with Dani Rosenblad James, excuse me. Dani is a writer and storyteller who empowers others through her journey of resilience and healing after experiencing a traumatic brain injury. As the founder of the Storyteller's Path, she helps people find their voice, shift their mindset, and embrace writing as a tool for transformation. She lives in Sweden and shares her story with honesty and hope, reminding others that new beginnings can emerge even from life's hardest chapters. All right, let's welcome Dani into the show. All right, welcome back, and let's welcome Dani to the show. Welcome.
Thanks for having me here.
Awesome. Well, Dani, why don't we start by having you tell our audience who you are and what you do and what inspired you to start the storyteller's path?
Oh boy. So I went down kind of a rabbit hole. I had this dream, this goal. I wanted to be on about 100 podcasts. And
Mhm.
so I started going on these having no idea what I was talking about. It's like, oh, what do they want to hear from me? I don't know. What can I do? And then I realized, oh, I can talk about my traumatic brain injury and this story and how much impact it had. And so after doing it so many times, I realized this is actually helping people. People are learning that we can overcome so much more than we believe. And then I realized, oh my gosh, why don't I write a book about this? Then I can help people in another way than just on the podcast. And so I wrote my book, turned into an international bestseller. It's called The Wandering Heart, A Tale of a Misfit Traveling a Life's Wilderness.
Mhm.
And it turned into international, or I just said that, international bestseller.
Mhm.
And I was just blown away by all of these things. And a friend of mine mentioned to me, why don't you teach people how to write and publish books?
Mm,
And
mhm.
I looked at him kind of like, what? Me? And so I tried it. The first lady that I talked to and had our one on one, I fell in love with what I was doing. I saw her eyes light up with so much hope because I showed her and I told her how valuable her story is.
Mhm.
Because a lot of us, we tend to see our stories as, ah, that's not that big a deal. Oh, it doesn't really matter. But
Mhm.
it does. And this is something that I tell my members all the time is there are 8 billion people in the world. You can't tell me there's not one, at least one person that cares with what you have to say or can connect with you. So
Right.
that's
Awesome.
where.
I love that. And you're right. It's so funny. I think a lot of times as women, we will say that someone will say, "Oh, I think you should do this." And then we're like, "Me? I we I should do it?" And it's like often a lot, I don't know, sometimes I think it's like just the imposter syndrome, where I call it the mean girl that sits on your shoulders sometime when you are about to step into something great, and then you're like, "Oh, never mind." And your mind gives you so many reasons why it won't work out or why you shouldn't do it. But I'm really glad that you, embraced that challenge and stepped into what is, your purpose.
Yes, definitely. And this wouldn't have been possible if I hadn't gone through all of those hurdles to get to where I am
Mhm.
today.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the challenges and hurdles that you had. So you're very open about your journey after the traumatic brain injury. So what were you say were some of the hardest moments or hurdles that you had, and how did you begin to rebuild?
Oh, I love talking about this, Kyra, because it's such an impact for me and I know for others. So
Mhm.
when I had the traumatic brain injury, I ended up going to ICU. I had to stay there for 10 days. I was induced in a coma, so I had to relearn how to walk, use my brain, and all these things.
Mm,
So it was about 3 days out of my I finally get out of the coma, and I am told what happened. I'm just laying in the hospital bed going, "What is going on?" And then they tell me the story, and I'm just like, "Well, now what?" Thinking that
mhm,
everything has just been broken in front of my eyes. And then I heard this inner voice say to me, "This is but a moment." And so
mhm,
when I heard that, I realized I get to choose what happens in my life. I
mhm,
am the main character, the protagonist in my own book, and
mhm,
I get to decide what happens next. And so what I did from there, I kept pushing and pushing to get better. And that doesn't mean it was an easy thing. It took about
right.
7 or 8 years before I finally felt like me to the fullest. And
Mhm,
there's still some days here or there where my memory may be foggy or it just some things just don't click. But I've
mhm,
accepted it and I love myself. And I remember so much that I went through to get to where I am today. So I'm thankful and grateful. I see my traumatic brain injury as a gift. And I know people are like, that's crazy. But
mhm.
without having that happen to me, I wouldn't have this mindset that I have today, and I wouldn't have learned all the things and learned how to appreciate life as much as I do.
Right, right. Oh, I love that. So when writing obviously has been a central part of your healing. Why do you think storytelling is so powerful in recovery and in just our growth in general?
Since I was a kid, I've always loved stories because it was a way to escape reality,
Mhm.
and I had a bit of a dysfunctional family, so being able to write a way of life that I wanted to be a part of or just to take me to another place, that that was what I loved.
Mhm.
And it was when I talked to some of the adults, like, they're like, "What do you wanna become when you get older?" I'm like, "Oh, I wanna be an author." And they're like, "Oh, that's sweet. What do you really wanna become?" And I'm like, "Oh."
Mhm.
And then it was these past couple years, that's when I was able to finally accept and go after that dream of mine. And
Mhm.
so I've learned from like all the podcasts and the speaking events and all these things I've been doing how important it is to be a storyteller. It's you
Mhm.
can do it in a book, you can do it on a stage, you can do it on a talk like we're doing. There are multiple ways of being a storyteller. And the one I just turned to more is with a book because I've always loved books and
Mhm.
what I'd mentioned to you. So,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. I think books and writing and are like their escapes from your everyday life, just like some people, watch movies or things of that nature, to sort of have that escape from your daily reality. And I think like excuse me, I think it's just important because everybody needs like an outlet of
yes.
their own to, sort of like I don't know, it's almost like not hiding, but it's just I mean, the world is heavy. To live daily as a human being can be pretty heavy for, a lot of people, for a lot of us, and it's like you just kinda have these things that you use to, like, escape. So, it may be writing and books for you or books for me, but some people it might be, going out for long walks or runs. So, I think the sort of important takeaway is that, this is sort of central to you healing and for you to sort of have a safe space But I think it's important, for people to just have the same types of safe space, things that you turn to when maybe you're just like, "Oh, I've had a really bad day." Like, go write about it. I do think that that's really something cool to do is to write about it because when things turn around, as they often do, right? They always kind of go up when you feel like it's very like a low point. And if you just go back and read, and when you go back and read those things, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, like that happened?" I was worked up over that thing today. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that you say that too because I usually recommend or suggest to my members and clients that journal. Journaling helps you because when you're writing books, especially if they're a personal story, there's
Hmm.
a lot of inner blocks that come up. And so if you end up having these and then you pretty much stop writing your book, well, a good way to help with that is to journal about it and get inside of your head and see why you're procrastinating or why you see that your priority list of you writing your book is lower. And this is a huge thing for so many women. Our priority lists end up having whatever we want at the bottom. And
Yeah.
that shouldn't be the case because you have to have self-love in order to get love from others. I mean, you still can, but to genuinely, truly get it in return and to give it to others is
Mhm.
to have that self-love for yourself. And
Right.
writing a book when you feel that this book needs to get out there because it's your heart saying, hey, this can help so many out there, why is it we find reasons not to do it? We see, oh, I need to do the laundry or I need to cook, I need to take care of my son or my children. That stuff is valid, I understand, but we can find time, like 10 minutes a day, to
Mhm.
put towards your book.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think because you hear that all the time from women where it's like, "Well, I really wanna do this. I need to do this, but I'm just so busy all the time." And like you said, if you just start with like 10 minutes and just dedicate 10 minutes, be disciplined about those 10 minutes, and then go from there. And then you'll see because it's like if it's something you feel like you enjoy and something you should be doing, then you will make time for it. That's what I always say to people. I'm like, come on now, because it's like you really make time for the things that we want to do. I know I get it, everybody's busy, but you do make time for those things.
Yeah.
And I feel like so like shifting into this next question, I feel like what you just talked about from a self-love perspective, right? It is how do it also has to do with the mind shift, right? So shifting that mindset after trauma. What did you do? What practices helped you the most when you were maybe struggling with your mindset?
For some reason, I feel like I was lucky because of that inner voice that I got that told me this
Mhm.
is the moment, and it was so quick after that. And then it was within that first month, the officer that had found me found out where I was at and called me to talk with me over the phone. And so in that call, he ended up telling me that I had fractured my neck. I was very close to becoming paralyzed for the rest of my life. And he's like, I can't believe you're able to talk, let alone be alive. And so when he told me these things, I just dropped to the seat next to me, like, oh my, wow, like what is going on? And I just was so filled with gratitude because I found out how bad it could have been for me.
Right.
And so after that moment, I had so much more gratitude and appreciation for life. That's what was in my mind, my mindset. And I felt that I didn't want to limit myself for having this. I
Mhm.
still wanted to push myself and still try to do the things that I love and want to do. So my husband and I, we went on a road trip for our honeymoon and we
Mhm.
ended up going to Yosemite National Park because I wanted to
Okay.
do hikes there.
Mhm.
And this was, the first year of traumatic brain injury.
Mhm.
Uh, and what I was so adamant on hiking it. And so what I told my husband and our dog, I was like, you guys go ahead of me because I could feel it was going to take me a long time. So it's
Mhm.
like every couple minutes I had to rest. And so what I did was I would breathe in and out and I would listen to my body. And I was like, okay,
Mhm.
I do need to rest and it's okay. And of course, it was a very painful hike, but it showed me what I could do. If I
Mhm.
knew that if I stopped and I went turned back, I would be limiting myself. And I started doing a mantra, slow and steady wins the race. And
Mhm.
that helped me keep pushing on, and in the times that I felt like giving up, a hiker would be coming down and would say something to me like, "Oh, you're so close, you're doing great." Because each
Mhm.
time they could see how hard it was for me. I was in tears, my face so red, all of these things, but
Mhm.
just every time I felt like giving up, this would happen. So
Mhm.
I saw all of the things in my life on the whole healing process. There were little instances here and there that I picked up, and I'm like, it's telling me to keep pushing forward. This is whatever a person believes in, God, the universe, whatever it may be. And I followed that and I kept
Mhm.
pushing myself forward. And so I guess what I kept turning to on the whole journey of healing was being open-minded, being aware of my surroundings, listening to my body, and being okay that I wasn't back to how I was.
Mhm. Mhm.
And this is hard to stay adamant on doing that regularly. So of course, there are days I was crap to myself, not the best,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
this is what I tried to do the most I could.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I love that. And then I love the discipline of pushing yourself to do something, but also to give yourself grace while you were doing it and understand that, like, I'm not, my body isn't where it used to be. So I need to take my time and I need to, um, I feel like you had moments where you were able, well, you got support, you got that encouragement, as you mentioned, every time you see somebody coming back down, they'd be like, keep going. And so that was pretty cool to see that, but also you gave yourself like the space to take your time, breathe, and get there.
Yes, and I wish that for everyone. It doesn't have to be having a traumatic brain injury or
Right.
anything intense like that. It could be just something in daily life where you just take
Mhm.
some time to ground yourself, to breathe in and out and just be. And that's
Mhm.
still a bit hard for me to get back into nowadays, but
Right.
I'm working on
Uh,
it.
yeah. Can you talk about maybe a moment with a client where writing or storytelling created like a breakthrough for them?
Ooh. There's been a few of those. The one I have on my mind is her story blew me away. She pretty much had to re-find her identity. And so
Mhm.
she was writing about a personal story about a divorce that she had and how she had to remake herself and all these things. Well, when
Mhm.
she was writing about this, it you relive it again. You're going
Mhm.
through all of it again, and sometimes it opens more doors for you, and it might be pleasant, might not. She said she had a lot of times that she was just in tears and it was hard for her to keep pushing on, but she kept pushing and got the book out there. And
Mhm.
so she learned that she needed to go through the hard times. She needed to have it in a written way so she could look at it and see, "Oh, that's what I've survived. That's what I went through,
Mhm.
and look at where I am now." So it's like she learned what was in her way in the past and how she was able to keep pushing on.
Mhm. Awesome. I love that. What role do you think community and connection play in, in healing and after and life altering experience? What role did it play for you?
That was a very huge role. Community is oh, there are some people that they think they can take on the world all by themselves, like I did. And then I realized I started getting these nudges here and there, and that I couldn't take on everything by myself. And like I had mentioned prior about the hikers, like that showed me right there, that is some kind of community right there because we're both hikers. We get connected because of this trail, all these things. So it doesn't have to be specifically in a physical community or a community
Mhm.
online. It can just be you having connections with someone that's doing something similar to you and you have that bond. And
Mhm.
I think it's really important for someone that is working on overcoming obstacles and hurdles and understand not to make a community around the issue, but around what you can become, around
Mhm.
the healing part of it. Because I know that, what was it, a couple years ago, I joined a traumatic brain injury community on Facebook because I'm like, oh, this would be nice to help support each other. What
Mhm.
I realized what they were doing was they were talking about all of the bad stuff with a traumatic brain injury.
Mhm.
They were not really being there for one another. They were bonding over the pain and the loss and the sorrow more than bonding over like what you have done, what you have accomplished, your experiences of all these good things that came from it. So it's just like what you mentioned earlier, Kyra, is about the mindset. And
Mhm.
these people, I could feel it that they were in sorrow and not a good, happy place. And they just kind of looked at the world like, woe is me. And I did
Mhm.
not like it. So I left the group and I felt sad and I felt love for these people because they weren't growing or letting themselves
Right.
get in a better place.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's also really a good thing to call out is that you have to choose, ultimately you have to choose like the best communities for yourself. And while you valued what they gone through and wanted to be there to help them, but they sort of seemed stuck.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you don't want to be in a place where it's like it's a pity party every day, right? Like we gotta elevate out of this and grow essentially, like you mentioned. Okay, so let's talk about resources that you've created and how people work with you.
Yeah, of course. So let's see. I have created the Storyteller's Path, which is a free community that you can come into. And then if you want to work closer with me, then it's like a level up to that.
Mhm.
Well, that's where I have weekly meetups with people and help them with their book. And then we have writing circles and things like that. Then I have a plethora of videos and guides, workbooks, all kinds of things. Like how I mentioned about the
Mhm.
journaling. I've created a workbook that's called the Journal Effect. And so that breaks down I think there's about 5 or 7 different points to why it is so important to journal. And so it makes it so people understand the importance of taking it into consideration for healing or whatever it may be.
Mhm.
And then I've also made workbooks that help break down my book framework for my book. And
Mhm.
then I also have another one that helps people understand what to do before writing a book. Because there's a lot of stuff more than we realize when it comes to writing book.
Awesome. And how can they connect to you?
Yeah, so people can connect to me at, let's see, school.com, the Storyteller's Path. That's where I have the community. You can also find me on Facebook. That would be Danielle Rosenblad James or Dani Rosenblad James. Then I'm also on Instagram as Dani Rosenblad James. Those are probably the
Okay.
best
Okay,
ones.
cool. Well, we'll drop those links into the show notes. So let's transition into three things with Danny. Gonna ask you three questions that just helps our audience get to know you a little bit better. The first one is a two-part question. It is how do you start and end the day?
I love this. I listened to one of your podcasts with Linda Brand and I was like, ah, she's going to ask me.
Yes.
So, morning, I would definitely have to say I wake up and I say it's going to be a great day.
Mhm.
So I start the day off. I have my regular routine with my little son, getting him ready for school and stuff. Sometimes I can get some exercise in, not always. And then once I drop him off, I get to go on my nature walk. And so when I go on the nature walk, I get to do affirmations, my visualizations, and just being. So
Mhm.
enjoying what I'm surrounded by, pointing out the things that I love, and really appreciating my life and what I have.
Mm.
And so that's what I do in the morning. Then in the evening, around right before bedtime, after getting my little kiddo to bed, then let's see, what do I do? Ah, the gratitude list. I do a gratitude list every time before I go to bed. And that helps me refocus on my life and
Mm.
what I've done, what I want to happen, all the ins and outs about it.
Mm. Awesome. Love that. All right. What's a goal or intention that you've set for yourself in 2026?
Oh, what did I say? Now I have to look. Ah, okay. Yes, that's what it is. Okay, so the goal that I want to have for 2026 is I want to have ease and flow in my life.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that means where I don't feel stressed out for the most part, where I can have just a good day here and there and make that more of the regular thing.
Right. Yeah, I like that a lot. It's not a bad goal to set for yourself. And the last question is, where are you currently finding inspiration?
Oh, inspiration. It comes from all kinds of things in all different directions.
Mhm.
The
Mm.
most I get is when I'm on my nature walks.
Right.
And I sometimes get so many ideas flooding to me that I'm like, "Ah, I gotta get my phone out." And then I turn it and I have to say all the things. And then I
Mhm.
see it later on and I'm like, "What is that?" Um, and then I also get inspiration from my members and my own clients too.
Mhm.
Because yes, I'm the one teaching them and everything, but that doesn't mean that I can't learn too. Every
Exactly.
person has something to give in any kind of conversation.
Mhm. Awesome. I love that. Yeah, I do that too, where I'm like, where I will write some notes in my phone and then I'll be like, what was I thinking then? What is that? All right. Well, Danny, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your evening schedule. Danny lives in Sweden, and she is way ahead of me, being on the in Eastern time zone. And she's been so gracious to stay up and record the show with us tonight. So I just want to say thank you so much for being so flexible. And I have one last question that I'm going to ask you before you leave, and that is, what are three things you'd like our audience to take away from our conversation today?
All right. So the first one I'd have to say is especially for the ones that have that book inside their hearts that they're not letting out. Get that book out there. Write that book. Get your story out there. Now, if you're not a writer like I am or some other people out there, do it in a different way that you feel comfortable with. That could be doing the events, doing the podcast like this, whatever works best for you. There are so many different ways to share your story. If you're an artist, you could make an art piece about it in some way. As long as you have your heart in it and you're like, this is what I want it to be with the intention and everything, you're good.
Mhm.
Let's see. Another one would be I had to take notes for this because I figured I'd forget. So, yes, this one's really important. It's to believe and trust in yourself. And this is something that I learned on my whole healing journey is
Mhm.
that I needed to be there for myself and trust that I will get better and believe that I can make it happen. And this is something that you can use towards anything in life. It's the one that gets in our way the most is ourselves. So it's nice to let yourself shine.
Right. Yeah. Every time we're in front of ourselves.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Then the third I would have to say is enjoy every moment. So that means you can be a kid once in a while. You don't always have to run the errands, be an adult, doing the things, the stuff. Do the things you love. go out and have 5-10 minutes, or I do usually suggest at least an hour, 30 minutes to yourself daily, just so you can have that self-love, that self-care for yourself. But I get it, people have some busy schedules, so just have some time for yourself somewhere.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Dani, for those. And thank you for, again, sharing your story and coming here to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Kyra. It was lovely.
Awesome. Well, stay tuned, everyone. All right, welcome back. And I want to thank Dani again for joining the show today. Make sure you check out all the links in the show notes to connect to her. If you'd like to learn more about Glow Up Girl, visit glowupgirl.com and sign up for our newsletter to get tools, insights, and inspiration for your glow up journey. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Glow Up Girl, and wherever you're listening, don't forget to rate, review, and share. It helps more people find the show. And if you're sharing on social, go ahead and tag us in so we can cheer you on. All right. And lastly, if you're a business or brand looking to partner with a community of women who chase big dreams, we are now accepting sponsorship. So reach out reach out to hello@glowupgirl.com. All right. That is it for today. For this show. I sound as if I was the one that was in Sweden at 10 o'clock at night, and it's not. It's 4 o'clock where I am today recording, but I'm tired. So, all right. Thank you so much, everyone, for spending part of your day with me. So until next week, stay fab, focus, and glow up. Take care, everyone.